All right, everybody, happy Monday. This is Stick and Hack Reacts. I'm your host, Adam Grubb from the Stick and Hack Podcast Network, along with Keith Stewart from ESPN Radio, host of The Pro Show. Keith, it was a positive weekend in golf. A lot of great things happened, in my view, on the hangover weekend. So this is the weekend of golf after the Masters. Some people didn't even watch golf this weekend because they had 4 days of coverage last weekend. But some great things happened with the old and the young in this weekend. And we'll start with Lydia Ko and winning for the first time in many, many years on the LPGA Tour. She came out and looked at Jordan Spieth as her, I guess, motivation to come back and win this year. Your reaction, Keith, on Lydia Ko winning over the weekend?
I love it, Adam. Lydia Ko is a superstar. She won 2 events before she even turned pro. I mean, she has so many LPGA records as a teenager. She's had 16 wins overall, 2 majors. Check this, right? She hasn't won in over 1,000 days or 3 years, or whatever the math is on that. But listen to her last 8 tournament rounds: 65, 65, 63, 67, 62, 71, 69, 70. She's had 49 birdies and 2 eagles in those last 8 rounds. Just awesome, you know? So, I mean, big thumbs up for Lydia Ko, her camp, the comeback after 3 years. I mean, we have an excess of riches in 2021. I mean, you're right. It's the week after the Masters. You know, it's that honeymoon period where, like, everyone kind of takes a week off. You can't take a week off. The LPGA was super smart. They finished up on a Saturday night. They started a day early. You know, you had Lydia Ko versus Nelly Korda on a Saturday night in prime time. There's nothing else on TV that you want to watch. I mean, baseball's got like 600 more games, right? The NBA, nobody plays. I mean, and in the NHL, you know, everyone's posturing for the playoffs, but let's be honest. Lydia Ko put on a super show Saturday night, so big thumbs up to her and everyone at the LPGA for kind of grabbing hold of that, you know, primetime spot and throwing us a really fantastic show. Loved it.
Now she's only had 1 bogey in 100 holes, and she's coming off one of the most impressive last several rounds of golf in recent history. But I think what is very unique about her is that her career is kind of mirroring that of Jordan Spieth, where she came out hot and hard and won a bunch, and then she had this lull, and everyone's like, what's going on with Lydia Ko? Well, she proved any naysayers wrong over the weekend and the last couple of weeks of playing. She is on fire right now. Does she win again in the next 3 tournaments?
In the next 3 tournaments. Wow, you have high expectations. As a tour player, if she won again this year, it'd be a really successful year, having not won. I mean, she won 14 times before she turned 20. So you want to talk about expectations. I guess you could say, I mean, so it's valid then. The next 3 times, the way she's playing right now, she had 89% of her greens in regulation out in Hawaii. I mean, that's just an unbelievable number. Golly.
I don't think it's high expectations. I think that's what people are asked. They ask that of the men all the time. Is Dustin Johnson wins, Rory wins, whoever wins, can they win again? Brooks, every time Brooks wins, they say, hey, he's on this hot streak. I think the same is set for Lydia. She is playing incredible golf right now, and another win in the next 3 tournaments is not out of the question. Moving on to reaction number 2, Keith, and that is my boy Stuart Sink. Stuart Sink, who my best friend bets on every single week and has for the last 7 years to win, didn't bet this weekend, and guess what? Stuart Sink won. So the question is to you, your reaction to Stuart Sink coming in handily taking on the RBC Heritage this weekend.
Well, I have to love it because, first of all, I love the name, right? Stuart Sink. Right. Where could we go wrong? But 47 years old, you know, maybe he and I share something else. 2 wins on the PGA Tour this year, $3 million in earnings with his son on the bag. I mean, what an awesome story. I mean, you know, tears in his eyes, I guess. The whole family in there where they're interviewing him after the win. But he put on a show this week. I mean, he had... Harbor Town is an extremely difficult golf course to steer your way around. And he had the statistics and a record-setting performance. You got to love Stuart Sink and what he did this week. And the guy's had an unbelievable career. 610 events. I think he's had something like 250 top 25s. I mean, the guy's a legit player. Everyone, yeah, he hasn't won. His most famous win was his last win before he won the Safeway back in September. And that was the 2009 British Open at Turnberry, where he beat Tom Watson, and everyone kind of made him the villain. But, I love the way he's embraced that since 2009. He's like, hey, man, I won a major. I can't help the fact that Tom Watson was the guy that I beat. So I like Stuart Sink as a person. I love the family aspect of it. I mean, his wife's recovered from cancer. This guy's been on tour since 1995. It's just a great story in golf, and it follows up on Lydia Ko's story that coming out of the Masters, we have an excess of riches here in 2021 in golf, and amazing things for you and I to talk about. Thumbs up for Lydia Ko. Thumbs up for Stuart Sink. What do you got for me next?
Stuart Sink's jacket that you win if you win the Heritage. Yes or no? That ridiculous red jacket.
It's Stuart Plaid. Yes, of course.
Give me a break. Absolutely not. Thumbs down.
Come on.
Third.
It's Stuart Plaid.
Third is another legendary performer and player and a lovable guy out there, and that is Steve Stricker, who won this weekend in the PGA Tour Champions. Tell me your reaction, Steve Stricker winning by one stroke there over the weekend.
I love this too, because it's like a call to arms to all the Ryder Cup wannabes, right? You've got your points list in place, and as all these guys are fighting to get on, whether it's Max Homa or Stuart Sink or Scotty Scheffler or Patrick Cantlay, he's outside the top 12 right now. I mean, these are some phenomenal players here in 2021. Steve Stricker goes out and goes 66, 67, 67. He's like, hey, kids, guess what? I'm the captain, and I'm going to be selecting you, but I still got some game. Yeah. So, I love it. He's won, I think, 6 times on the Champions Tour. He's got 2 majors there. One of them's with the U.S. Senior Open. It's a Ryder Cup year. He's the captain. And in a year where he could take all the excuses in the world and say, hey, I've got a lot of captain's duties or whatever. This guy's out winning golf tournaments, win by 1 over Robert Carlson this weekend. I think it's a fantastic story. I think really what's a more unique story about Steve Stricker was that some of those names I listed aren't necessarily on the team yet. And come September, he's going to have to make, or late August, he's going to have to make some difficult choices.
It was a fun weekend for golf, and it was a great weekend for those that love the old timers. Now, I say old timers in the golf terms, okay, not in life terms. I mean, Stuart Sink and Steve Stricker have been around for a long, long time, but to watch them win and to have the especially Stuart Sink with his son on the bag, it's one of those moments. And right at the end, his son said to him, "Hey, how about that, Dad?" And it shivers, it hits you everywhere you need. So it was a great weekend for golf. You have a bonus react for me. You had something that was a little controversial over the weekend because we're all rainbows and puppy dogs over here. What is there anything else negative about the weekend?
Yeah, it's not all unicorns around here, my friend Adam. I got one. So Billy Horschel comes out on Thursday and says no to the arm lock putting. Now, this has become quite a thing. It's not just Bryson, but Will Zalatoris, Matt Kuchar, Webb Simpson, some different people have dabbled in this. And he says, you know what, that's like anchoring, and he doesn't like it. And he said it in the press room, and he said, I know, I'm going to raise, a little bit of a polarizing topic here. How do you feel about something like anchoring the putter against your arm? Do you have a problem with this sort of thing? Or just as a golfer, you're like, hey, have at it, the game's hard.
I have zero problem with it. If anyone can get around their own unique swings and do it their own way, how can we make somebody, when they get to the green, say, no, you have to do it this way? You can do whatever you want up to the green, but once you get to the green, you have to putt this way. If they start to go down a path of here's how you have to swing, here's how you have to putt, here's how you have to hold your club, ridiculous. I couldn't hate it more, quite frankly, Keith. And I think him bringing it up makes zero sense.
Yeah, I don't quite get it. I'm interested to see where this goes, if it goes anywhere. It's interesting. I mean, Bryson won a couple times now with it, but past that, no one has really used it with great success. So I guess stay tuned. All right? And stay tuned to Stick and Hack Reacts. I
do want to make sure that I'm understanding you properly because, as you very well know, I'm the hack and I'm not very bright. Are we talking about the arms locked completely, or are we talking about the club anchored up against your arm when you're putting?
No, it's the club anchored up against your arm.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I guess in reality, it doesn't matter because my point was that who cares how you putt? So that was actually a dumb question. So I'm illuminating my own denseness here. So Keith, incredible Stick and Hack Reacts. Happy Monday to you, sir. Enjoy the week. We have another huge weekend coming up. We will talk to you next Monday for Stick and Hack Reacts, where we look at the items of the LPGA, PGA over the weekend. He's Keith Stewart from the ESPN, The Pro Show. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy.
Adam, as always, enjoy lunch, my friend.